Hi, Eric. This is Artemisia. Your class is in 2 minutes? Yes. At 3:30 Eastern Time? Yes, I will entertain people while we wait. No problem. Bye-bye. Hello. Oops, people are joining. Hello, everyone. Our instructor is running a little bit late, so we can chat if you want to chat. I have unmuted you all. So
Hi.
if you, hi.
Is the I actually had originally wanted to take the Flares and Flourishes class. Did that get recorded, or do you know if it's?
It most certainly has been recorded. It's up to each individual teacher what they're going to do with their recordings. We're hoping to have a playlist on the YouTube channel of all the classes, but like I said, it depends on each teacher. I think he's pretty excited to share it though.
Could you send me a link to the YouTube for this, or a
Yeah.
copy of it somewhere?
Let me see if it's already set up. Give me a second.
Thanks.
So has anyone been to a masked ball and would like to share their stories about it? If not, that's also okay. I have never had the fortune of going to a masked ball. Only one. It was at a LARP many moons ago, and unfortunately it was not very well attended or managed. Ah, that's difficult. That is difficult. I haven't had the chance. The one thing I did have the chance to go to, which was really awesome, was Step Sprightly. which is usually hosted annually in Eldemir. And I live in Ethelmark, so it's just across the border. Of course, it was before Corona time. And I got to go there, and there were lots of classes. It was a full day of classes, so it was really wonderful. And if they're still doing that and you can get there and you like to dance, I definitely recommend going. Okay, let me make our teacher co-host here, and then we can get started. I've just been boring everyone with tales of Step Sprightly and Eldemir.
I am such a dweeb. Oh my God.
It's okay. Everybody makes mistakes.
This is twice in a row. I'm terrible today.
But you're here now, and that's what matters.
Oh, usually I have a separate location, so I'm like, I was getting ready for that, and I'm like, all right, let me just horribly clean up my room real quick. Oh my gosh. So how many people do we have so far?
About 9. Well, I'm just, yes.
Sorry for everyone who, if you were here yesterday, I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm glad I was able to get the switch for today. So hopefully everyone will enjoy this. This is also, as with everything, a very interactive class. So I hope everyone has some questions or ideas, stuff that they've seen or stuff that they want to do, because that's the best part about this, is to both get interaction, ideas, experiences. It's quite rewarding. So real quickly, does anyone have any ideas what they think this class is about?
Even though this is the Courtesans College, I'm assuming it's not about testicles wearing tiny masks.
Not yet. Dang it, yes. Some of it is about masquerade, yes. One of the things that has to do with mass balls and everything, especially for us in the society and everything, is the fact that we want to add something to things. So therefore, like a air of surprise, you know, even something like, oh man, I got really good skills, so you can make a mask and show it off, everything like that. Because it's not just about masks. It's about a little bit about history. It's a little bit about costuming. It's a little bit about culture. Because some of the things that occurred was the fact that mass balls were kind of frowned upon because of their historical aspects, because some of it had to do with pagan festivals. So a lot of it was like, no, we can't do that. But then they also realized later on, hey, we can, if we take something old and make it culturally acceptable, then we can do new and exciting things. And even though it's still kind of what it was in the past, it's more acceptable now. So like masks themselves went all the way back to the Greek culture. They would wear masks during their plays in the amphitheaters and everything like that. And of course, the pagans would wear masks around fires and everything like that. And the masks went everything from actually partial skeletal bones to just a piece of fabric with a couple holes cut out and everything like that. What I'm going to try and pretty much start in this class is the fact that how it kind of got restarted during our time periods. So what happened is that around the really late 1190, some of the culturally acceptable hierarchy started putting masks on. But one of the interesting aspects was that one of the higher level kings in France and stuff kind of started going crazy. So, and I want to make sure I get some of the wording correct. I think it was called the Burning Man, which, hey, amazingly enough, we have the Burning Man in the western part of the United States sometimes. I think it's in western part. But what it was is they wanted to hide the king and how crazy he was doing stuff. So they made it into a ball, and a mass ball. So it was like, oh, it's a king. He's fun. He's exciting. And yeah, he's going crazy, but it makes it look like he's having fun. So it was a way of essentially hiding some aspects. And once it started realizing that it was a hiding type thing, people could do different things, like they could change their gender. So they could hide the fact that they were a woman dressing as a man dressing as a woman. They would start adding things. So it wasn't just like a mask. So let's talk about real quickly some of the masks. Some of the masks that we always see is going to be a mask where you just put it on and it's tied. Some are going to be a mask where you hold onto a stick. But then there's also ones where the masks are part of a bigger costume. So you get like a headpiece or a hairdress. You could make it as part of an entire gown or outfit as part of a couple. There was also the ones that, as I said, you kind of hid who you were and stuff. So there was people where they would have a mask, but then they would have just a big cloak and a hood trying to hide who they were. They would also try and use masks to become different animals. So people would go and have an animal, and it was like, here's a person coming out there with a mask of a stag with big horns. And oh yeah, that was not any type of phallic symbol at all about some type of dance. Hello, I'm the stag. So it became a way to express yourself differently, to hide who you were, to become someone different, do different things. But there was also very much a cultural aspect, because we all hear about the mask balls or the masquerade balls in Venice, which started during that time and actually sooner. And it went all the way through the Renaissance and everything like that. So there was always a portion of, as I said, surprise, mystique, culture, and it was able to be enveloped and acceptable in many different places for many different things. Some of the masks too were different things where they would just, go from your nose and cover your eyes. Some of them would actually be like half face, kind of like Phantom of the Opera. Ones that were fully covered, different things like that. So it was a very much what you wanted to do. They got to be so popular that people would actually get these contracted out to make. So it was like a complete outfit, or they're going to show how fancy they are by making nothing but have gold inlaid on their masks to show status and everything like that. And of course, there was always, I'm not saying deviant in a bad terminology, but there was always the ones about, as you could say, guess the guest, where it was like, hi, I'm here to have fun. I could be a peasant or I could be a royal, but no one knows. And we're just here to have fun. And it got away from a lot of the understanding of the hierarchical tier where, you know, I don't want to be an aristocrat. I want to go and I want to have fun at the local club type thing. So different things were able to be allowed and accepted. And that's the most important thing about it, is the fact that it became so accepted that it became a status of life in society. So people would have an entire garb of complete masquerade-esque ability. So your mom and dad would have one, they'd go out, yearly celebrations, stuff like that. Some of them were very conservative and some of them were not. And that was the nice part about it. One of the things that is nice about doing mass balls in the SEA and stuff is the fact that it can be part of a theme. And I'm not sure how many people have heard of mummers. Can I get a quick shout out from people who know what mummers are?
I know some historical sense of mummers, but I lived a long time in South Central Pennsylvania, and every New Year's Day was the Mummers Day Parade, and it was amazing and beautiful and kind of like
It
a
was
Mardi
massive.
Gras. Yeah. Kind of like a New Year's Mardi Gras.
Exactly. The mummers was essentially just like another masquerade aspect. The historical aspects are kind of they kind of hit a lot of different areas. So, for example, if I can find the exact wording for the languages, like one would be the German aspect would be mask, I think. Mum would be quiet from French, I believe. Masquerade is specifically from an Italian aspect. Certain things like that, where it's just kind of like each different cultural aspect created a bigger entity. So one of the nice things too is that they would have mummers plays, mummers dancing, mummers walks. And for example, if, say for a nice event, there we're going to have a theme called for the dancing, the mummers dance. And so you all dress up in your nicety and everything like that. Then after that, then you say, all right, we're just going to go for a walk. And then from there, you go out to people's tents. And they're out there and they're talking. And you just kind of sit down and you play cards with them, or you might sing a song, or you might act out part of a play, or anything like that. And that's called mummering, where you actually go out and do different things, but you stay in your entirety of garb and masks. So you stay in that character. And it became a very cultural and seasonal thing where people would just walk into people's houses and they would play dice. And they would sometimes not talk at all, and then they would leave. But it was a very culturally acceptable thing, especially in Pennsylvania, in the Go Eagles. One of, I think it's one of the players is actually a mummer. He dressed up in his mummer's outfit after they won the Super Bowl, and he went on a gigantic mummer rant. And people were like, what is this guy doing? But everyone who knew about it was like, oh, we totally get it. That's totally what it's all about. So that's the one nice thing, is you can create a new type of feel, an aura, an image about when you do anything with masked balls. So you can do a theme. You can keep it just at the dancing. You can take it out for a walk. It becomes a type of entity. And that's one of the best things about masked balls. So has anyone been to many events where there was a theme about a masked ball?
Unfortunately, I have not. I was only talking about Step Sprightly, which is in Eldemir, and it's a day of dancing, and then a ball at night, but it's not a masked ball.
I've gone through about, I would say maybe about 5 or 6 masked balls. Um, the interesting thing about masked balls is the level of how deeply you want to get into it. And every once in a while you'd see someone with like an entire outfit and their masks. And you're like, yeah, they didn't make that. They bought that somewhere. They were in Italy and they went and they bought a really nice mask. And you get the ones where it's like, all right, we're gonna have a mask ball tonight. And then you have like make your own mask stations during the day, which is quite nice and entertaining for people. So they get something to do. They can kind of, well, I'll be wearing this dress, so I'll get this and I'll color the mask and I'll put some glitter on it and stuff like that. So it's one of those things where you can do a project to get ready for an event, to get ready for the theme, to, all right, now that we're done, we're going to show off all of our stuff to the entire event, which is part of the whole glamour of masked balls, is that whether you do something really small, or okay, we're just going to make some masks and do some dancing, or we're going to make it this entire festival. That's the best part about it. So no one has ever been to a masked ball? This is showing how old I am. This is not good.
War of the Wings used to have a masked ball, including a mask competition.
Oh, where was that at?
This was War of the Wings in Atlantia, in Sacred Stone.
Oh man, that sounds cool. Did they have like where they would spend like the month ahead of time to get it ready, or was it like the day of the event and they just kind of like, all right, here's your stuff, you can make the mask that you want?
It depended on the year. They would announce ahead of time a theme, and so they would have a mask competition or two, maybe a judged competition and then a judge's choice. And of course, the masks that win the competitions are not necessarily the most conducive to dancing in a mask.
That is true, but that sounds really cool. Do you know why it ended?
They do different themes for the war, so they do different themes for the ball. It just depends on who's running it and what kind of resources and time.
Okay, but it's still going on then?
The ball itself, the war and the ball, War of the Wings, is still going on, except not this year due to gathering limits.
Okay, well, so at least they're still doing the ball, which is great. I mean, that's one of the things that's nice. It'd be bad if they said, all right, this is good, and then all of a sudden now it's just a dance and the ball kind of goes away. I've seen that happen a lot where they're like, hey, this is really good, but then it comes down to the point of, okay, now it's too much work for what it is. And that's where we have to find that nice, happy balance between getting people in and seeing the interest compared to, I don't have $1,300 for one ball one time a year. Some people have that, I don't. But yeah, you gotta still keep it fun and interesting, and always make sure things don't die. Anyone else has any interesting stories about masked balls that they've seen? So not many people have seen masked balls or participated in them. Well, I'm glad I had this class then, because I challenge everyone to if you are not a dance person, sponsor a ball and just say, this is what's going on. We're going to have a mask competition, and we're going to have a mask ball competition. And just go get some masks from Michael's or some craft store, get some glitter, get some paint, get some sticks, get some feathers. Feathers is always a really nice thing. Oh, Party City, excellent. And you can even make it a theme where it's like, all right, ours is like 2 weeks before Halloween. Make it a Halloween theme so people can dress and get the stuff ready, and then they can use it for Halloween. If you got a snowball, you're going to make everything like crystal white. So all of a sudden it's a Frozen theme or something like that, where you can get a color scheme in place. If it's Outlands, all right, we're going to have a stagged theme ball like crazy for either crown or coronation. It's perfect. Or maybe you're like, you know what, my favorite color is blue and green, and we are going to have a blue and green ball. That type of stuff, because it's yours. You can sponsor it. And that's the other nice thing, is sponsoring activities like balls is very easy. You just find a group that's either close or your group, or you're like, hey, you know what? I know you guys are doing this. What do you think about me sponsoring this? What I'll do is I'll provide masks, all the material, and I'll come up with like 3 different prizes, one for the best children's mask, one for the best theme mask, and something like that. Most groups will be very happy to say, sure, if you want to do that, that'll just add to our event. And then you get to shine by saying, I got this great idea. And all of a sudden people will be like, hey, I've never heard of this. This sounds really cool. So all of a sudden you now have 11, 16 additional people that would show up or come to that specific aspect and say, oh man, this is a really great idea. You know what? I think I'm going to steal it and do it at my event. Great ideas travel, people. And unfortunately, a lot of times I've seen on a lot of comments, it's like, no, I haven't, but I want to do it, or no, but I would love to try it. Then, you know what? Take the bull by the horns and say, I am going to be the one in charge of it, and I'm going to have it. I don't really know. I'll just do some research. I'll come up with an idea, and everyone will have a good time. I have just done that many times. Well, you know what? I'm going to do it. People are going to have a good time no matter what. And if they don't, no offense, that's their fault. They're not wanting to have a good time. I'm going to make it where it's fun, it's exciting, people are going to remember. And then next year they're like, hey, do you think you can come back and do it again? Oh, heck yeah, that's great. So I always encourage people to come up with ideas, volunteer to initiate something, and then make it their own. Because that's the best way for you to have fun at an event, for people to see and recognize the type of person that you are. And mask balls are such a great way to do it. Now, of course, the one big hindrance is you don't have a lot of people that are dancing. You might need to get someone who's a dance teacher involved to try and help you with the ball to make sure that there's enough people. Okay, we're having mask making in the morning from 10:30 to 12, and then at 1:30 to 3:30, we're going to be having dance class. So now they can actually put on their masks and learn to dance. Because the last thing you need to do is, all right, I'm doing this and this mask doesn't work. Oh, darn it. So working with people and coming up with an idea is always great. So what are some other things that people want to do or have an idea about, but is uncertain about things.
What are the easiest dances to learn and teach people when you're working from zero?
That's a good one. Some people will say that you really need to do the pavans and galliards because that is really the time period for which most of the masked balls occurred. I will say no to that because some of the pavans are easy and that's good, but the galliards are really in-depth, kind of hard and very energetic. So what you want to do is you can pretty much dance anything. So you just do a lot of the bronzals. They're really good. They go left to right and they're not very energetic to the point that your mask might come off or your headpiece will come off or anything like that. So a lot of the, like an official brawl, if you want to get a little bit more energetic, Black Nag is always good, or Black Almond. Roughy Tufty Heartsease is always good because you're very engaged in either no more than 4 people. Did I say hole in the wall? I hope I didn't say hole in the wall. Hole in the wall, Trenchmore, things like that are usually not a great dance, mainly for the fact that if they have like a lot of feathers or anything like that, you're doing a lot of over and under, through, spinning, where the masks or the feathers can get caught and ripped off or anything like that. So much more of the open dances where you're actually out and then you come in and then you're out together and you're giving your partner leeway so they're not, because one of the things you're going to realize is with some of the masks is that your visibility is limited. So you want to make sure that you're giving your partner as much capability as possible to enjoy the dance comfortably, seeing where they're at and everything like that. So a very good question, because yeah, the more of the basic dances, I'm not gonna say non-energetic, but more of the non-physical dances where they could, because people who are like, all right, gotta do a lot of stuff, they'll make a lot of mistakes and then they might get a little upset, and the hindrance, like I said, with the eyes, they might want to, you know what, I think I'll sit down for a little bit. That's not the purpose of this, is frustrate people, but really have them enjoy what's going on. So circle dances and non-energetic line dances are the best.
How do you group? So I was looking into doing a mask ball, but COVID, and I was reading one of these things out of Penzig about how you group them, the dances, in sets. And anybody just jump in and stop me, because I'm going to, if nobody's going to ask questions, I'm going to pick your brain.
Oh, go right ahead.
I'm going to pick your brain. So what is
real
the
quickly,
structure?
Though, one of the nice things, the fact of the masks, is the fact that, hey, it's a mask ball. You can actually have masks during this time period and it'd be totally acceptable. So, sorry, I wanted to just say, you doing this even during the pandemic is actually quite period, because they did have plague masks during this time and it was part of a theme and a culture. So, sorry.
It's forbidden in my kingdom.
We can do
now.
archery and equestrian. That's about it.
Yeah. So how do you structure your evening? Do you put the dances in sets? How do you do that? How do you work it around feast? Do you have or just snacks?
Usually the best that I have seen is the fact that if you're going to have a dancing or a ball or anything like that, it takes some time to prep. So you usually have your feast. Say you're going to have a 4 remove feast. Dessert is number 4. After number 3, you tell everyone, all right, the dessert remove will be during the ball. which gives people a little bit of time to take a break, eat a little bit, get a little bit of sugar energy to go back out and do some more dancing. But then that gives you time to clear everything out, set everything up for the ball. The one thing that I pretty much tell everyone is a ball is very structured. And thank you for bringing that part up. What you should do is you should have, let's say, 8 to 10 structured dances. After that, then you open the floor to what people want to dance. Because at that point, you have done the showing off portion and everything like that. And if people want to dance, then they can, all right, I want to do heartsease. I want to do cylinders round. And the people who have been planning and done the rehearsal during the day, they're like, I don't know that one. I don't feel comfortable. You know what? I think I'll go and mummering around. And then those people can go take a nice little walk and show off, and then they can come back later. But the first part of the ball is, like I said, very structured. Here's the here's the dessert, here's the dances we're going to do, and it's very formal. And it gives the royals time to show up, have fun, but not commit to having to be there the whole time. And then after that, then the people can, all right, after these 8 to 10 dances, some people will be like, you know what, this was nice and fun, but I don't want to wear the masks, and they can take the masks off. So it becomes from a structured aspect to an open aspect. And it's very important to give that opportunity to people, because you're showing the aspect of the importance of the ball, but still giving everyone the enjoyment of whatever they want to do afterwards. So still dance, go, just talk and eat, play, drinking games with different things. You always want to let people make the ball enjoyable to themselves.
In the Flourishes class, you did mention a little bit about what masks could represent or symbolize. Would you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, kind of like what I was saying before, a lot of masks, like during this pandemic time, people would actually have plague masks or masks or costumes that would represent their status, or I am a high society person and I'm very virile, so I'm dressed as a stag. So women, you can come to me whenever you want. So it would kind of enhance certain things or be a play on words, all this type of stuff. But there was certain things where they would have what's known as the dance of death, where it was a mass ball where everyone would show up either as a skeleton or a ghost or things like that. And it was both a way of essentially getting out of the house, but they also believed that the dance of death would actually get some of the plague aspects out, scare death away. All right, when death is confronted by a horde of skeletons, death would leave their village. So they would have certain things like that where the way that they would dance too, so I was saying, like with the flourishes, they would go, and instead of just doing proper dances, they would do a lot of arm movements. Ooh. So, and you can see that in a lot of the imagery on how certain movements, flourishes occurred pertaining to the time, the location, and the dances that were done. So you might look at it and go, why is this picture like this? This makes no sense. And then it's like, oh, well, they're all dressed as skeletons and they're all moving around like they're zombies or whatever like that. And that's totally period. They have art, pictures, stuff written down where it was this type of thing. Like I said, during Halloween, you can have a Halloween themed Dance of Death ball where everyone is dressed. And yes, you can do it like a zombie or a skeleton or death itself with a big sickle. Please, if you have a sickle, use a plastic or a styrofoam sickle. We don't need to get anyone injured during any of this. But yeah, the flourishes can change depending upon what it is. And it's, as I said before, and I always say, whenever you're dancing or whatever you're doing it because you want to do it, because you're comfortable. I am acting like a crab right now, and I'm okay with that. And now someone says, I can't believe that person acted like a crab. Really? I think you're a crab right now because you're being a crab, okay? So chill out. That person's having a good time, or I'm going to ask you to leave. It's all about enjoyment. It's all about making something yours. And it's never wrong. I don't care if anyone says anything. You need to just tell them to shut up and get out of your ball, because they're not going to have a good time no matter what. You are there to have a good time. You are there to represent who you are. You are there to show. And I tell this to people who are brand new coming in. Well, I don't really have a lot of money. Well, you don't need it. Well, someone says I really need to have like 3 pieces of garb that's like $1,200. Yeah, you know what? They've been out of college. They've been working for 40 years. They got money. They need to shut up. You don't have that. Whatever you need, whatever you wear is fine. If you need help, there's going to be people that will help you make stuff. But no one should tell anyone else, well, this shouldn't be done, or why are you doing it like this? Please leave my ballroom right now, because you're annoying the crap out of me. And dancing has really gone down in attendance drastically. And to me, it was one of the big things that got me into the SCA, because it was a great way to meet new people. It was a great way to, all right, I really can't dance real well. Okay, after a couple years, I can dance really well now. And no one should feel weird or bad or anything like that. So that's why I'm trying to do these classes here, other kingdoms and everything like that, is to try and really push dancing and themes for dancing, and making sure that when you do something, it's good. There's nothing wrong, and no one should ever say anything bad about it. Man, this person just can't dance a straight line. You just need to shut up. So, sorry, I got my little soapbox there.
Are there any unmasking traditions from period?
Not really. That's there's no real documentation about a process or anything. In fact, there was more documentation stating that there was hardly any unmasking. So like they would like take off a jacket, or they might take off their cloak or whatever like that. But like the last thing would be mask. Even during, like I said, the guess the danced, guess, oh my God, guess the guest. Most of us know people in our groups and local groups. So if they show up in a mask, we can pretty much figure it out. But that was always one of the things, is that they would never really identify who the person really was. And if they started to kind of get, and I'm talking more period aspects here, if they started to realize, okay, this person might be this, then they would change a lot of their masks to become a different person. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, my lady, you are quite tall. Why, thank you very much, sir. Just like, oh, okay, I think it's a guy. But not going to push it, not going to try and be irate about it. I'm just going to enjoy the dance and that type of thing. So there's not a lot of unmasking. I guess you could do a theme about different ways to unmask, where you could have it as a like a contest where it's like, all right, this person had the best cross-gender mask aspect, and it's like, I know I've seen where it's like, I look at someone, I'm like, damn, if I could look that good in that outfit. And it's like weird things like that where I'm like, why would I even say that? Oh my God. But it's like, man, this person looks really good. I could never pull this off. So you think about things a little differently, and it's pretty cool. Not sure if that really answered your question, but
It did. Thank you.
oh, come on, people. I know there's other people with questions. It's good.
So I'm going to go back to the same or similar topic, talking about the fall off of dance, which I've seen some dance specific events. Like, sorry, I signed on late, and she was talking about Steps Brightly when I logged on. And so that's dance specific. But as far as dance at just your generic day trip event, what do you think are the biggest impediments or cultural changes in the SCA that have caused dance to fall off, and what can we do other than holding, you know, themed balls, mask balls? What can we do to get people to embrace the culture?
All right, I don't know if I'm going to be politically correct, but I'm just going to be honest about what I see. Number one of the things that I have seen is the fact that we have lost a lot of youth showing up or becoming new members.
I
And
lose more youth every year.
I'm sorry?
I personally lose more youth every year.
And that honestly was one of the things. Like, I was in college and I'm like, man, this is great. I'm having a good time. It's a great social environment, everything. But I also know a lot of people who are like, well, we're not going to have that, mainly because, well, I'm really old and I don't dance, so there's no real reason. Oh my God, I want to slap you. And unfortunately, a lot of, as you said, day events have been part of the limitation too, because dancing has always been at night. Well, we got to be out of here by 8. Well, that doesn't give you time. If you have a feast, and then you're pretty much done. You got to clean up and everything like that. So you got to specifically make sure that there is some type of dancing at an event, and then let it grow, because it's going to take time to make it grow again. And so you need to say, all right, we're going to have someone that's going to teach maybe 1.5 hours of basic dance. Now, you do like 1 hour of the actual rehearsal and then 30 minutes of dance, so everyone can do the dance, but because it's not going to happen at night. But then if your group does not support it, you either do individual, you do group, or you do kingdom support. If your group's not going to do it, then you say, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure I learn these 8 dances, and I'm going to teach these 8 dances. And these are going to be the popular ones, and it's going to build. All right, the group has to say, all right, we're going to have 1.5 hours of dancing at every single event that we have, to make sure that it shows we as a group support this. Then if those 2 don't happen, then you need to get the kingdom involved, and that comes down to talking to the king, the queen, the prince, the princess, and say, we really need to get dancing going. And one of the things is, when I win Crown List, I am going to make a mandate that says, every event that I go to, I want dancing there. And all of a sudden people are like, no, don't go, it's dancing. I don't care if it's a day trip. and it's just in the afternoon, I will dance in the afternoon. If you have it at night, then we're going to have it at night. But if it's going to be a kingdom level event, there will be balls. There will be a white rose ball. There will be a red rose ball. There will be the Baron Ulrich ball. I don't care, but there will be a ball. And then it will happen again. But we also have a tendency of just not supporting it for a long time. And I am a rock in a stream. All right, I'm a big boulder and I got a glacier of water coming my way. Well, you just need to move. I'm not going to move. I am going to have a ball. I am going to make a ball. I will teach the dances. If no one else will, I will. You're not going to move me. And it actually works out quite well. Everything that I do, I start it and I get a lot of pushback. I started doing a lot of these allowed to discard. Yeah, that happens too. There's certain things occur, fencing, fighting, everything, and then people don't want to get distracted by having other things. Well, there's other people that aren't fighting. They can do other things like dancing. They can have craft A&S competitions. Whenever something occurs, so I started doing a lot of online classes, and I got some pushback saying, well, you know, we're not really sure how this is going to work, some of the legal aspects. So, you know, maybe there's not, I'm like, you know, until you give me an order or you ban me from this kingdom or whatever, I am going to do classes, and I'm going to do classes all the time. And I've done over 40 classes now, and it's getting more and more popular, and I send them to literally every kingdom because I've been in the SE a long time and I've traveled a lot. So, and the number one thing that I keep on hearing from everyone is the fact that there's not a lot of basic information about stuff. All right, how do you set up a fighting field? What do you really need to do for your first couple camping exercises? You know, certain things like that where there's a lot of people with a lot of experience, but they don't really teach new people what you really need, the basics about, and at that point, then you can expand. So I've been doing a whole bunch of classes on the basics of things, and people are really excited about it. I could have just said, oh, well, you don't want me to? Okay, there's a problem. All right, I'll just won't do it. Nope. I know what the need is out there. I know what I can provide. And that's why I always encourage people. If you see a need, if you see something that is not in your group, but you think you can do it, do it. And if they say, well, okay, but you need to, nope. No, you do not tell me what I'm going to do. Because if it was, you can do it. Well, I'm not going to do it, then you're going to be quiet and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it my way, and we're going to keep on expanding, and we're going to do different things. And then all of a sudden people are like, wow, you really can get stuff done. It's like I said, it's individually done, it's group done, or it's kingdom done. And you can really show off your ability. And I try and encourage that with everyone. If you want a mask ball, you say, we're going to have a mask ball. If my group doesn't want to do it, I'll find another group that has an event and ask them, hey, is it okay if I sponsor one? Most of them are going to say yes. So, boy, I talk a lot. I'm sorry. At daydream events, I've had success with both. Yep, that's good. With attracting newcomers before fighting starts. See, that's the thing. You talk to them ahead, either at your group or whatever group that you're working with. You find the time, and you find the time that works out good. Even if it's not a day event, say you go up there Friday night and you leave Sunday morning, you know what? Have a small little dance class Friday night. that gets people together. It becomes a social environment. People get to meet new people. Oh, well, thank you. And yes, there's nothing that says you can only do one thing one time during a week or during a day. You say, you know what, we're gonna have some class, we're gonna do some dancing classes at 9 o'clock, basic dancing from 9 to 10, and then people can watch fighting. And then when it gets really hot, we're gonna go in the shade, and then we're going to actually do the 3 to 4 dances that we practice in the morning. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. It's all this is very different than a ball. And to me, I say I'm trying to do the ball thing to try and give ideas and themes to try and expand on dancing. And yes, other of these classes that I've done, I pretty much every single time talk about the fact that there is not a lot of dancing anymore, and we need to get more dancing going. And that needs to happen, but you can add things to it, themes and all this other stuff. And that's why I want to talk about specifically mass balls, is you can do that as a theme and just say, you know what, I'm just going to get those really cheap masks from Michael's, and we're just going to have a little mass ball. And then 5 years from now, it becomes the Kingdom mass ball. I always tell people, and I'll give you an example. You always start with something. You make sure it works. Then the next year, you do the same thing, but you add one more element. And then that following year, then you add a new element. And that is how you make sure things grow, but it also stays consistent. There's an event here over in, I'm from Fargo, North Dakota, and there's a group in Bismarck, and that group has an event called Bardic Blades. So several years ago, they're like, well, you know, and I'm a big fighter, big archer, I do everything. I just kind of get bored, but I also like to have fun. And they were like, so we're going to be doing archery, and they have a really big archery event. And I said, okay. So I went there to help them with their archery event. So I was like, all right, this is what we're going to do. All right. And then, so we had it set up. Then the following year, I said, okay, we're going to add, everyone has a torchlight tournament for heavy. We're going to be the first group that's going to have a torchlight tournament for archery. And they're like, okay, it's going to be fine. Well, we had torches. There was a lot of wind. Didn't turn out as great as I thought, but I had targets that bled. So I had big zombie targets. I put up a big speaker, and I had nothing but zombie going. So yeah, we were doing a torchlight zombie apocalyptic thing, and people had a good time. The following year, it was like, all right, this worked out quite well, but the torches weren't good, so we're going to refine it by adding the solar lights. So we actually had more lights, weren't affected by the wind or anything like that. So that worked out better. Great. So what is the one thing we're going to add? We're going to add on a clout shoot. So I went and I built up a big castle wall. So we actually, instead of just shooting into an open field, we actually had to shoot over a target. So, and this year we were actually going to have even more stuff, but of course with the pandemic, everything didn't work out. But I tell everyone, start with something. The next following year, refine it, make it better, but then add one thing to it. Then the following year, you keep the whole thing, you keep on refining it, then you add another aspect to it. So instead of just trying to make the perfect ball the first year, take 3, 4, 5 years. All right, we're going to get dancing. All right, now we got dancing inside a building, so we got everything covered for the weather. All right, now we're going to start adding masks for the third year. Okay, now not just masks, but if you can match a costume or you match a mask to one of your fine garb, now we're kind of making it not just a mask, but kind of like a masquerade. All right, and now the 5th year, we're going to have kind of more of a structured ball, but then we're all going to go walk around and we're going to do mummering, and we're just going to do it as a group and stuff like that. So therefore, you start small, but you keep it new, you refine it, you keep interest going, and you build it. Sorry, a lot of talking again. Anyone else? Please ask any questions you want. Like I said, I'm open and honest about things. Yeah, totally agree with you. I'm gonna butcher your name, and I'm really sorry. Baron Alfgar? I want to make sure I say it correctly. Yes, there is pretty much the whole thing about, well, there's fighting and nothing will distract. We have feast and nothing will distract. Yeah, to me, I'm like, yeah, there's gonna be fighting, but not everyone fights. So what are you going to have the other people do that aren't fighting or aren't watching fighting? You can have other stuff. But yeah, some groups really limit what can be done. So they try and get, well, there's nothing else going on, so everyone has to go watch fighting. No, you can have other stuff. But the big thing is going to be trying to have the best scheduling ability, because especially on a day trip or a day event, you're not going to have a lot of time to do what you want to do. Or, well, we got 12 things. 12 things is way too much, but at least that gives options. So it's really hard to plan sometimes and really focus.
Do you have a YouTube channel or something where you're putting up your dance videos or?
I just registered a channel. I haven't put any, I don't think I put anything on yet. I'm in the process of kind of building this whole thing. And so I also have a separate Facebook page called The Baron that I'm putting a lot of the videos on. So I'm gonna, along with that, I'm also going to try and put a lot of documentation, a lot of other sources, recipes, things like that. So one of the ones that I really enjoyed was I did a beginning, not a beginning feast, but a beginning lunch, because I have, swear to God, so many lunches are always screwed up because way too many people want to get involved. And all right, can you feed 105 people? No, I'm only planning on feeding 50. Well, can you stretch it to 105? Get out of my kitchen. I want to slap you. So, like I said, a lot of the basic stuff on things, I'm trying to get a lot of this going, because again, with getting new people in, one of the other things I've seen for young people staying in is, unless there's other young people that they can talk to and relate to, there's usually a very big disconnect between, well, I've been in for 32 years and you're brand new. And it's like, I don't need you to look down upon me. I just need someone to help me with stuff. So I always tell them what they really need to do is to have a sponsorship program. To, hey, we got 2 new people in, a guy and a girl. All right, you know what? We have Tyler. He's still in college. He'll be, we'll have him be the mentor to the guy. And we have Miranda. she's 26. She'll be the mentor to the 19-year-old girl. And at that point, you go and you have like, hey, what's your phone number? What's your email address? If you need a ride to for practice or anything like that, then all of a sudden now they have a friend in me to being able to go someplace and ask a question and not sometimes being looked down upon. So that's one of the things I've seen too on how to keep younger people in.
You've got two mentions in the chat box. A question: any recommendations on sources for historical dances?
Oh, okay. There is not a lot of sources. There's the standard Playford, Arbo, Greasley, a lot of the ones like that. There's like, I tell anyone, if you can give me or find me some historical documentation on period Egyptian dances, oh my God, please give it to me, because I can't find any. There's not a lot of stuff that is there because it wasn't a primary source, not until much later, like during the Pavons and Galliards and the Italians, where they would actually have dance masters who would actually have a lot of this stuff written down. Before, it was like little side notes and sheet music, different things like that. So that's why there was a lot of dance steps, but the actual dances are pretty much the only ones that are already found. So Playford had them. Arbo had more of a cultural aspect on how the dancing was or why someone did a dance, and how dances kind of went back and forth from a French version to an Italian version to a Spanish version. Even though the dance steps were the same, you just change, oh, I'm going to change this in step 4 to step 6, and we're going to call it this. So that's why a lot of times people, when they start dancing, they're like, well, I'm not really sure, because they're all the same dances in different combinations. I actually started creating new dances, which is totally period correct. And I wish more people would actually create new dances. I took what's known as the torch bronzel, and I made it into the candle pavon. So I took an existing dance within the same genre, but went from a bronzel, which is a left and right movement, to a pavon, which is a forward and back, and changed just a few aspects of the dance, which totally correct on how everything is. And what I did was I'm trying to make more basic dances that is easier for new people to do and easier to remember. So yeah, it's really hard to find any new documentation. Most of the stuff I have from websites that, like I said, I'm going to put on my Facebook page, The Baron, to have direct links. So I have several of them, not several, like maybe 3, that are nothing but the links to the music. So you can just go there, find the dance, hit the MP3 link, and it'll start playing the music. There's a couple of them that have really good YouTube channels where they just go straight to the dance. Some of those are good, some of them are bad, because some of them, and this is the part that's also interesting, a little bit confusing, every kingdom can dance the same dance slightly different. So you might see a YouTube video and go, well, I thought it was this, but they're doing a different step here. And that's fine. That might be the way that kingdom does it, and that's fine. So you might not be wrong in the way that you remember the dance. So whenever you look at a dance video, just remember it might be slightly different because it's a different kingdom, or some of them might be a video of a dance practice compared to an actual ball. So there's going to be different aspects on that too. Let's see.
Also, Baron Alfgar also earlier asked about Le Bal Ardner. I can't, my pronunciation is terrible.
I don't remember. Is that the one for that you're talking about? But the king, but I think that was called the Burning Man. Is
That was when it was mentioned, yeah, at the beginning.
All of them, because everyone's going to have a different view on how to turn that light bulb. We need to do it in a circle. We need to do it in a line. We need at least 4 people. Yeah, right now Ardnair, I'm not. It's not coming to my brain right now. Sorry.
Also, Noble Lightfoot said, I think that if you really want to have dancing at a feast, you can always squeeze in an hour at the end of the night. It's just a matter of time management. And if people start to get used to it, they will stop questioning whether or not it's doable. When we had a Black Rose Ball in Cade, not a masked ball, we had a buffet so that feast didn't conflict with other activities.
Oh, never thought about a buffet. But no, yeah, I've known people where they, I hate to say, jamming in some dancing at the end of the night. Some people don't like it. Some, I don't really care. If it works, it works. So keep on going. But yeah, it's really what you want to do. How will you get it going? How will you keep the interest? And everyone that says, well, we need to stop doing this, you need a good swift kick in the butt too, but that's not going to happen. So yeah, whatever you do to make it work, it'll work. As long as you keep on and you support it, it will work. Let's see. Any other? Any other questions or ideas or things you want to do? Please ask, don't be afraid. Still got like 20 minutes, got plenty of time. Ask away. You know I love to talk. It's all good.
So back to the torch or candle thing, do you use live fire or do you guys replace them with electric? Or?
Oh, see, that's the best part about it, is I made it so that the dance can be done many different ways pertaining to what you want to do. So you can, the general concept, and then I'll tell you some of the variations of it. It's a dance where you can either hold hands or not. So therefore you can hold a candle or not hold a candle. You can hold a light bulb. I'm just saying light bulb because of what was said earlier. But you can do like the electric candle. You can do a flashlight. You can hold a flower. You can do whatever you want, or you don't have to hold anything. But the way the dance goes is you do a single left. So you go left together. Then you do a single right, right together. Then you go left, right, left together. Then you look at your partner and you put your right hands together and you go around 360 degrees. So everything is an 8-count step. So it's nice and slow, very easy for people to learn it. And then once you get done, you're actually facing each other like this. And then you do a a turn in place. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you go back again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now what you do is you've just learned a basic pavane step. You've just done a 360 arming, and then you did a 180 or 2 180 sightings. So you pretty much have done almost all the dances for a basic pavane step movement. Then from there, you go and you start doing the 8 count step, walk away, left together, right together, left, right, left together, and you walk away and you find a new partner. Now from there, you grab that partner and then you take that person out and you start dancing. So it starts with 2, then it goes to 4, then it goes to 8, then it goes to 16. The other nice or interesting aspect is you can do it at night where it's like really dark, and if you have the candle, as you start, when you find a new partner, you light that person or light that new partner's candle, and then all of a sudden the room starts to get brighter and brighter and brighter as the dance goes. And then when the dance ends, you can have everyone just blow out their candle and it goes straight dark. Like I said, when I do something, I try and, okay, how do I want to do this? Then how do I want to make it grow and expand? So that's how pretty much I did with the dance. So therefore, you can either hold the hand, you can just hold a candle if someone is a little bit more squeamish about dancing with someone right away. They can hold an electric candle or electric light. They can do whatever they want. So it really depends on the mood and how everything goes. Does that make sense?
Yes, thanks.
Sure.
Do you have a link available for your Facebook page, or can you add it to the Courtesans College page?
Yes, I can definitely give it to you. I don't know if you can, from the chat, if you could put it in the Courtesan page. I'm not sure how to really do that.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So,
Yeah, so Baron Alfgar has looked on Facebook for the Baron, and there comes up a lot of them.
really? Oh, scary. Okay. Let me let me just see if I can actually do the link for it. That's weird. It's me eating some pie with a very strange face. Just to let you know, I'm I try not to take myself too seriously. The Evil Baron. Oh, darn! Why didn't I get that one? Let's see. And trying to.
I get the page for your name.
Clicking on so many things. Yeah, I just put a link. Unfortunately, it's in privately. I'm not sure how I got privately. So.
So I'm not sure who you sent it to, but it wasn't me. If whoever you sent it to could post it to everyone. Whoops.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
Awesome sauce.
All right, come on. Any more questions? I love to talk. You guys know that. I also put down my personal one. Let's see. And yeah, there's my personal one. Hopefully. Are they the same? Man, this is not good. I am not technology friendly this week. Not even today, just this week.
I think this is your personal one.
Okay. But yeah. Also, like I said, I mean, if you have any questions, just contact me by either one of those. If you want links to things, I'll try and make sure I send you stuff. I try and do most of mine stuff, most of my research online, like everyone else, of course. So if you find anything interesting that you think I would enjoy, please send it to me too. I would greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, if no one else has any more questions, I thank you very much for all showing up and participating. And hopefully we get to do a lot more of these virtual classes. They're quite fun, and I love hearing experiences from other people in other kingdoms.
Thank you for hosting this.
No problem. Sorry for the bad timing yesterday and today.
You made it. You're here. That's all that matters. And
I know, but oh my God, I'm such a dweeb about this. Oh my, yesterday, oh, I can't believe it. And then today, I did it again. Well, thank you for helping with all this. This helps out a lot. It's nice to have a moderator that asks questions and is.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, I have questions, so.
That's the best part. Cool. Well, hope everyone has a good day. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. And keep your eye on the VCC Facebook page to find out where all the recordings are going to go.
Well, that goes to the next question I was going to ask you. So.
Well, once we get them all processed and in one location, we're going to give access to the teachers, and then the teachers get to decide for their class where they want to put it. I think we're going to try to do a YouTube playlist if all the teachers want to opt in. But it's just a lot of processing. We've got only a few people pulling them down and putting them in an accessible location. So probably at the end of college, once we get everything in a central location, we'll start working with the teachers and then getting them posted.
That'd be good. Especially for the people who couldn't make it for the certain times and stuff.
Hmm.
That's nice.
Yeah.
The evil Baron. I can't believe I didn't.
All right, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you for teaching.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Bye-bye.